right. So, welcome back. This is, of course, our fall semester, and it will be for 16 weeks. We start today and continue on until the first part of December. We will let you know the week of finals, when that is, and all that. Really excited about this semester. I have not calculated totally yet because I still have some students to put in today, but it looks like we're going to be very close to 96 students, or maybe even 100. And that's always been my goal, to have 100 students. So it doesn't always look like we have that many because we do have some online, and welcome to those of you online listening to this online. And we do have a pretty huge group of students coming at night. And I say huge, anything that fills a room to me is huge, because that's been one of my issues this semester. Because we are growing and because we are expanding, rooms have been very difficult to come by. And so we may be a little crowded in some of the rooms, but please understand that's growth. And it's okay, and just make sure you shower and use deodorant and all that good stuff so that nobody will be stinky that you're sitting by, okay? Oh, I meant to get the ribbons. Thank you. The ribbons are in my room down in the back.
In your classes?
We do have these ribbons that several of you have earned. Many of you have. I think you're doing great. May I just say, I think you're doing very well. We've passed some tests, and you're progressing. And what we're going to try to concentrate on this semester is to help you progress even quicker. So, I always choose an animal of some kind to sort of symbolize what we're doing in the semester. So this year, or this semester, I have chosen the eagle. So I want to tell you a few things about the eagle. Of course, the eagle is the national bird of the United States, and it's called a bald eagle. I didn't know this because it's not really bald on the top of its head. It's because the top of its head is white. And when you look at it at a distance, it looks like it doesn't have any feathers on the top of its head. And so that is the reason it's called the bald eagle. There are, of course, other species of eagles, but the bald eagle is really kind of what we're looking at. And you will see on your sack pack, when you pick those up, you will see a picture of a bald eagle with the wingspan. Now, interesting fact about the wingspan, sometimes it goes as far as 70 to 90 inches. So they have a huge wingspan, which means they fly very high. When they're diving for their food, sometimes they can reach speeds of 100 miles per minute, okay? I think that's exceptional. So I think this just characterizes in so many ways what we're wishing for you this semester: to fly and soar like the eagle. The eagle soars up high, dives down for food, but dives at a very high rate of speed and continues generally about 35 to 45 miles per hour. So that's pretty fast when you're thinking about animals and how fast they move. Another interesting fact about the eagle is that they mate for life. They do not cohabit with other birds. They don't come down and visit with the turkeys, and you don't want to either, okay? You want to stay up high with the eagle and soar. They build their nest together, so the male and the female are together for life. And interestingly enough, if one of them should die, or I guess just die, because that's the only reason they would choose another mate, they then look for another companion. And so, but those two live together for the entire lifespan of one or both. They build their nests together, and their nests are huge. They're just huge. And they return to that same nest every year. So it's like going home every year when the female lays her eggs. Typically, a female will lay 3 eggs, and the first eaglet that is born, unfortunately, sometimes doesn't let the other 2 eaglets live. So that's why they've really been an endangered species. I think they're off the endangered species list right now, but they have been an endangered species because the firstborn eaglet just wants to be the only one in the nest, and so unfortunately that's what happens sometimes. They are very protective of their young, yet they move very fast, they are incredibly strong, and that mother eagle will push those eaglets out of the nest. Now, I know that many of us feel, and they're going to laugh at, my faculty's going to laugh at me because I told them I was going to do this. They feel like when they're first starting, those little eaglets get pushed out of, can you imagine being a little eaglet? Well, yeah, you can, because that's what you did in theory, right? And that's what you did in your 40 word a minute class. You were just flapping your wings just like this, trying to find your way, trying to get them to work, okay? And you were just flapping like crazy. And yes, I do get a little crazy in my old age. But what happens after they flap, 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 immediately then they start learning that they can use.
Did you want the whole bottle?
No, that's fine. That you can start using your wings, and you start expanding and expanding and expanding, and all of a sudden you are flying and soaring like the mama eagle does. Now, but if the eaglet is struggling and the mama sees that the eaglet is struggling, what she will do, because she's got a watchful eye on her chicks, okay, what she will do is she will soar down underneath that eaglet and catch the eaglet on her back and take it back up to the nest, push it out again, and do the same thing until that eaglet learns to use their wings. So that's kind of what we do for you. We push you from one speed to the other. We push you out of your comfort zone. But I want you to know we're always there underneath you to catch you, and you're not going to fall to your death. Trust me. You may feel like that sometimes when you're going into a new speed and it's just totally crazy, and you're overwhelmed and you're thinking, I can't do this, I can't do this. Yes, you can, because there will be people with you all the time. Our faculty is wonderful, and everybody will be there for you. And again, you have the support of the court reporters, and they're wonderful. They will be there for you. You are not going to swoop and dive and never recover if you choose to get the help, okay? So, with that said, that is our motto. Choose to soar, choose to fly your dreams, okay? And I know that this is a difficult program. I know that the ups and downs of the program are very real. The struggles are real. I know life gets in the way. I know everything that happens affects what we do. But please know that we're here for you. But I want to reiterate to you very sincerely, it's not that we are so nosy that we need to know everything about you. But if you do not communicate with us, and if you do not do the work that we have asked you to do, we have no choice but to give you a bad grade. So please understand that. You can't just walk away and say, oh, I'll try to get caught up later, or they won't notice if I don't submit anything. We see it all. And Mother Joy over here has the eagle eye. Okay, she's in charge of the canvas, and I say that affectionately. She's in charge of the canvas class, and she will go into depth explanation with you in just a little bit about some things that have changed about canvas. But she sees what you do. And when we come together as a group at the end of the semester and try to assign grades, it's like a circus sometimes in there, because we want to be fair and we want to be honest with you. And some things I do know, and I can speak up and say, but this happened, or somebody else will know, but this happened. But if I don't know, or if they don't know, and you have not communicated anything, then those X's on that canvas where you've not turned in anything reflects to us that you don't care about your grade. And I know you do, because some of you get into big trouble with financial aid because that sort of thing happens, okay? And so please, if you don't do anything else, and if you're having trouble for whatever, we are not going to be judgmental. None of us are, because we've all lived life. And some of us more than others, and we've had those experiences. And we know that things get in your way. But if you don't communicate with us, just a simple email to me is enough. Okay, and I get the word to everybody else. Or to your teacher or whatever. Become one that communicates, please, if you're having any kind of problem at all. We do have a schedule for this semester. It's not out yet. Dr. Deering is working on getting it together and getting it to us, and I think we should have it by probably this afternoon sometime. What I will do is we'll post it on Canvas, we'll post it on the wiki, so you will have a copy of that. What I'm doing with the schedule this semester is breaking the classes down just a little bit more so that we don't have these huge gaps. So we don't feel like we have any 40s because I think everybody's moved up to at least 60. So the beginning class will be 60, 80. Now if you're still at 40, of course the teacher will accommodate that to get you up past the 40 as quickly as possible. This does not pertain to the night school, but for day, we just didn't have a new theory that's going today, I don't think, and so don't believe we have any. So Barbara, right? Yeah, Barbara is a 60, 80 person, and she's back there in the back. If you don't know Barbara, that's where you will go if you are 60, 80. If you are 100, 120, you go to Rick.
Or Mr. Hopkins.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hopkins. Yes, he prefers that you call him Mr. Hopkins. You go to his class, okay? He will be, I don't remember what room, I think you're in here.
I think I'm in here.
Yeah, he's in 303. So if you're 100 to 120, you will be with Mr. Hopkins. If you are 140 and 160, you will be with Judy, but it has to be an afternoon class. Okay, we just don't have the rooms to have everybody in the morning, and particularly since Judy is also teaching the beginning theory classes you saw when they walked out. She can't be two places at one time. So the 140, 160 class will be in the afternoon, early afternoon. I think it starts at 12:15 or 12:30, something like that. Then the 180 plus class will be with me in the mornings in 311. So that's pretty much a breakdown. We've tried to do that to help you out a little bit, to where the speed gaps are not quite so far apart, because generally we've had like a three speed grouping. So we're hoping that by bringing it back to a 2-speed grouping, that you can make that progress. And of course, anytime you pass out of that speed group, you immediately, I don't care when it is, if you pass out this Wednesday, not literally, but if you pass the test out on Wednesday, then Thursday you can go to the next speed. So again, remember, we never stop you, we never hold you back from your speeds. You will progress at your speed. All right, as a lot of you know, we have made application to NCRA to become an approved school. That has been an extremely interesting problem to navigate, an interesting situation to navigate. Documents have been submitted. They did their site visit. They talked to some of you. Thank you for being so positive and so supportive of what we do. I think have you seen your video yet? It's posted on the website, I think, on the NCR website. They interviewed Jonathan because they thought he was, I did get your name right?
Yeah.
Okay. They thought he was just a typical representative of what a young what guys should look like with all these skills coming into the program. So NCRA interviewed him. I believe it's on their website. Of course, we just had the big convention in New Orleans, and I will tell you that San Antonio, court reporters and San Antonio College were spoken very highly of many times in the sessions that we went to. Some of our court reporters presented the sessions. They talked about the A to Z program. That's when your name came up again about watching that video. It was good. All the publicity has been just excellent. So again, I thank you for being positive and being influential in what you've said and done. However, we have about 4 findings that we have to answer to. A couple of them do not concern anything about you. It's our paperwork on our side as far as the syllabi and all that sort of thing is concerned. But there are a couple of things that will affect you. And one of them is practice, your practice logs, and the second one will be, and the second one will be your Canvas participation, and Joy is going to go into detail with you in just a little bit about what's expected of you through Canvas. And then the other thing is your attendance coming down from the school, from the actual school. And in our meeting, in our faculty meeting on Friday, that was one thing that was emphasized. I think all too often we get to the point where we think court reporting is just kind of a Luby's kind of event. I'll go if I want to. I won't go if I don't want to. If I don't feel like it, I won't show up. I'll take this, but I won't take this. I don't like liver and onions. Mr. Hopkins does. So I don't choose liver and onions, but he does when we go eat at Luby's. Okay, so, but it's not a smorgasbord for you. This is a college class. We have obligations, we have responsibilities. So your attendance is counted, and we're going to have to count that even more so. So in every one of your classes, there will be a sign-in sheet every day that you need to sign. Not that we sign in for you, but you need to sign. Now, if you happen to need to be tardy that day, well, fine, but just be sure you sign it and make sure that you have put in that you are tardy. Now, online, we're going to have a little different situation that we'll talk to you guys about. Online has a little more freedom because we don't care really when you do what you do as long as you get it done. So there's not as specific a time frame as there is if you are here in class. So please understand, it's not our rule, it's not our being hard-nosed saying we have to do this now. It is the school expecting it. And honestly, I want to try to fit into the policies of the school as much as possible, because I don't want to call any attention to the fact, oh, court reporting is so different. They say that already anyway. And we are different. But I've worked very hard to try to get us into the same mold as every other class here on the campus, even though we are different. I've done a pretty good job of putting that square peg into a round hole and made it fit. So we're really looked upon now as being pretty okay. I want to tell you that. They are very aware of what's going on over here. They're very aware of our attendance. They're very aware of our growth, and that's a very good thing. So what NCRA approval will do for you is it will open up doors. You will have to become a member, but the student membership is not too expensive, I don't think. You will have to become a member, but it will open up doors for you to apply for their scholarships. And their scholarships are as high as $2,500. So I think it would behoove you to take advantage of that when we tell you that there is a scholarship available, that you apply for it. Because I know it's very hot, I'm sorry. We have a lot of, just keep some doors open. We have a lot of scholarships that come up, and honestly, they say very few people apply for them. I think that's really bad. So that is the main reason I've gone through this torture chamber for you, and the faculty's gone through the torture chamber for you, so that we can make those scholarships available to you. So please take advantage of that. I want to tell you that testing is not going to change particularly except for a few additions. Testing is not optional. May I repeat that? Testing, the tests we give are not optional. Neither is the practice time. Neither is class attendance unless something happens and you let us know. Nothing is optional for you anymore, okay? You can't just choose because whatever to not do something, all right? Now, we had an advisory meeting with the court, with our advisory committee on Thursday night, and one of the recommendations, they say they hear from you and they hear from other schools, is that the data proves that if you're allowed more testing opportunities, you progress faster. So we cannot go to a testing every day. If we go to a testing every day, we deprive you of 3 hours of class every day because you would have to transcribe. And that would also mean you would have to come to class on Wednesdays, which again would be, you would have to come to class. So we're choosing not to do that, but here's what I'm going to do for you. You will still have your testing on Wednesday. So the actual 3-leg testing is still going to be on Wednesday. I'm going to encourage you to please come. Don't use that as a day off. Some of you have just decided, oh good, Wednesday's the day off, I'll test whenever I feel like it. And then what happens is we don't feel like it. And so we don't get some tests in. And Joy will tell you there's some blanks in the testing because something happened on the weekend, you didn't get to it like you thought you would, or life goes on or whatever. And so we don't want any blanks on that testing. So my suggestion to you is to come on Wednesdays to test. We will be in room 300. She starts at 8:30. The test begins at 9.
Door's locked at 9.
The door is locked at 9. And you take your test and you transcribe it right then. It's really going to be easier for you to do that, and you'll understand why when she talks to you about testing online and in Canvas. It just will be much easier, it will be done, and it will be over with, okay? Now, I'm also going to post an extra test every Friday. One extra test every Friday. So this Friday, you will get an extra lit. Next Friday, jury charge. Next Friday, Q&A, so on, so on, so on. So you'll get those extra tests one day, every week, which will be on a Friday. In addition to that, I'm going to have a test blitz again on week 4, 8, and 12. On weeks 4, 8, and 12, there will be another testing blitz. So what that means, if you haven't been through the testing blitzes before, that means that on Monday you get a lit, Tuesday you get a jury charge, Thursday you get a Q&A, Wednesday you get your regular test. Okay, so out of the 64 days that you actually come to class in a semester, you will not be tested on those days, but you will get a total of 41 tests. Okay? That's a huge increase to the 16 you only got before. Okay? So yes, we're excited about that, we hope. We don't want it to all be about the testing, but it is about the testing. It is about passing those speeds, because if you don't pass those speeds, then you're stuck, okay? So this will help you, I think. The research is out there. We're going to try to be a part of that research to make sure to see if we offer more tests to you, you will progress more. So again, to reiterate, I want you to come on Wednesdays for your regular tests. If you're a brick and mortar coming to school student, Wednesdays should be your main test day. So please come unless something prevents you from coming. Please come. Come on in. Please come on that Wednesday, okay, and take that test. Okay? Then every Friday you will be given a separate test. that can be turned in. All of these are turned in Canvas by Sunday midnight. And then we'll have 3 test blitz weeks, week 4, week 8, week 12, where you get, again, a whole series of tests for the week at your speed. Again, a total of 41 total tests out of the 64 days that you're here in class.
I think it's actually 73, Ms. Word.
73 days, did I do
73 tests. Because they get 3 tests a week right now. So that's 48 right there. And then the extra test per week is another 16.
Oh, I wasn't counting them separately. I was just counting testing opportunities.
Okay.
Okay. I wasn't counting the 3.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's where so
Total
that's why,
test, it's 73.
That's why I came up with the, yeah. So you are getting quite a few, you're going to get quite a few more tests. Okay? Quite a few more tests. And so hopefully, hopefully this will help you. I want to see whether the research is correct. If getting more tests will help you progress more quickly. And I think it will if you follow the other things that we have for you. Okay? Any questions about the testing? Are you liking that? Does that sound good? Oh, you're very quiet. Yes? Okay, I kind of see some smiles and I kind of see some, I don't know. Okay. Now, another thing that is not optional for you is the SAC pack. The SAC pack has now become, if more so than ever, this semester has become your textbook. We don't ask you to buy any special textbooks for court reporting as far as speed is concerned. So we have put together, I have put together the SAC pack for you, okay? SAC pack is a little different this year, this semester, than it has been before. It will still contain, I have a little saying I want to read to you too. I found it, I think, and I want this to be your motto also. Don't compare your journey to others. Would y'all still quit? Will you stop comparing yourself to somebody else? Everybody's journey is different. Don't compare your journey to others. There is no comparison between the sun and the moon. They both shine when it's their time. Okay? So the sun shines during the day, the moon shines at night. The sun's time is the day, the moon's time is the night. They don't compare. I don't think the sun and moon talk and say, well, you take it today. You know, I'm tired. I don't want to do this, you know. So, or you know what? You're brighter than I am. No, and then the moon says sometimes, no. Have you seen those big bright moons sometimes? They light up the world. So, shine when it's your time to shine. Don't worry about anybody else or anything else, okay? All right, so in the SAC pack, you will have your literary, your jury charge, and your testimony that the faculty will all use at the beginning. Now, high speed, I have to use more than just this, but for most of you, you stay with these 3 things for the entire, at least 2 days, at least 2 days, and then the teacher will give you something else. But there is something new that I have added that I think I hope will help you. One of the things that NCRA kind of dinged us on was a lack of a practice guide. Now, they do require, I think we had said for 17 weeks, 17 days, hours of practice outside of class. I'm going to knock it down right now to 10 hours of practice outside of class. But I want you to understand, I'm talking about you're doing your class 3 hours, okay? Plus 10 extra hours that week, every week, okay? Those of you that are online have to do your class practice. It's posted on the wiki, but you are also expected to do 10 extra hours a week. There is a practice log in the wiki and on the wiki and also in Canvas. So there's no reason why you can't find those logs, and they're going to talk to you individually about that in just a few minutes. Okay, so every week, well, week 1, week 2, week 3, and then I'm going to go back to kind of week 1, week 2, week 3. But in your sack pack, you will find an instruction sheet on how to practice for the first 10 hours of this week that we expect you to practice. So what I have done is given you a hint on where I want you to go and what I want you to practice. I think a lot of times we want to practice, but there is so much stuff on the wiki. You look at it and say, where in the world do I go? I mean, I don't even know what I need. I don't even know what I want to do. I don't even know what's on all of it. So I'm going to give you a guide every week on where to go and what to practice. So everyone is practicing from the same group of things every week. Okay? So for this first week, we are looking, and I have given you, you'll see this when you get the sack pack, I have given you a schedule of what I want you to do. Okay? So I've asked for the first 5 minutes of your practice time, and sometimes you may only be able to get 5 or 10 minutes, you know, at a sitting, and that's okay. That's okay. You just do what you can do in that 5 or 10 minutes. But I've asked the 5-minute warm-up, write your alphabet for just this week, write your alphabet. Then for 5 more minutes, do your theory review, and I say go to document 1. Well, on the next page, you'll see a page that has document 1, document 2, document 3. So your theory review that I want you all to practice is right here under document 1. Okay? All right, and then after you do that, then I ask you to go to the jury charge dictation. We are going to the, where'd I put it? The,
Magenta.
yeah, the magenta colored link to dictation on the wiki. And Ms. Mallon's going to show you that link in just a few minutes, show you where it is, so you'll know where to go. So I want everybody to go to that magenta colored link for your jury charges. I want you to do this week 5-minute practice, but this is the way I want you to do it. Pull up that jury charge, or pull up that lit, or pull up that testimony. And you don't have to do them particularly in this order. You practice any way you want to on that. But you pull up whatever it is you're going to practice. You take the 5-minute take one time. Just take it. After you have taken it, you read back your notes for the entire 5 minutes. Okay? Anything that you had an untrans on, or you had, you missed totally, you left out, you can go back and listen to it again and compare your read back to the audio. All right? So you're checking your work, and you're making a note of everything you missed. Now for 5 minutes, some of you may have notes that go forever because you've missed a lot. That's okay. It's all right. We're going to check your writing, or you're going to check your writing to see where you are. So is everybody clear so far? You get the 5-minute dictation, you take it one time, you read it back, you underline, well, you make notes of everything that you missed, whatever the error may have been, whatever. Then, for the next few minutes, you break it down. You work on the words that you missed. It might have been multisyllabic words. It might have been little words that you left out. It might have been, you know, whatever, something that you missed. But go back on the recording again and that will help you fill in those words. Practice those words. Do each word that you missed 10 times. Okay? 10 times. Go on to the next word. Do it 10 times. Now this is very tedious. And I know it's not going to be quite as much fun as going through and just picking and choosing a dictation, listening to it, slap it down, don't even pay any attention to it, go on to the next one. That does not help you. It doesn't help you. It just reinforces bad habits. So we're going to try to get those habits and those things that you've done wrong corrected. All right? So after you've spent the majority of the time doing those corrections, working on those words, making those lists, then allow 5 minutes out of that 50 minutes, because I've allowed 50 minutes for this. Allow the last 5 minutes of it, retake it again and see if you have improved. Okay? This is a test. We're going to see if it makes a difference, and I think you will find that it does. So therefore, you only work on that one take 2 times. Once at the beginning, you listen to it as you go back and edit it and look at it and correct those errors. You work on those errors, you take it again right at the end of your practice session. You will do that for your jury charges, for your literary, and for your Q&A. That will be your assignment for this week. Then I ask you to break occasionally, and I'll say take a 5 to 10 minute break and work on compound words. Go to document number 2. We have compound words there. Then I'll ask you to take another little break, 5-10 minutes, and work on conflicts and sound-alikes. Okay? So you have directed practice each week. There will be something new each week. It will not be the same format. But this is the format that we will use for the 5-minute dictations. All right, do you guys have any questions? It's in your SAC pack. It's imperative that you get the SAC pack and that you pay attention to it, that you read through it. Any questions about that? Because you will have a practice guide every week in the SAC pack. But it'll be different, it'll be directed differently each week. I think you're going to like this. I hope you will. It gives you more direction. It helps you. It's a guided practice thing, and that's one thing that NCRA wanted to see. How are we guiding your practice, and are we giving you anything to guide that practice? Yes, ma'am.
So is that how? So you have to do at least 10 hours of practice on Saturday. So is this going to be part of that 10? Is this going to take up a whole 10? How does that work?
It probably won't take up the whole 10,
Okay.
because really what I've given you for the day is a little over. What'd you say? 3. You count-
3 hours.
A little over 3 hours. So there's probably, you're going to have to do some other directed practice too for those other 10 hours. I mean, for the 10 total hours. But I don't know, if you do this right, you may find that when you go back to do your corrections, you may spend more than 50 minutes.
And you're not limited to 10 hours.
No.
Well, yeah, yes. I just didn't know how much was expected for this to take up.
For what?
How much time this directed practice?
The question is asking how to break down the 10-hour practice
Yeah.
time.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you break down that 10 hours how you want to, but
Isn't it going to vary by student?
it will vary by student, because of course high speed's going to get through this quicker than,
Well, I just knew that's what it was.
yeah, no, high speed's going to get through it quicker than low speed will.
And then, so each day, whatever dictation we do in class that day, that's the 3 that we're going to be using for this directed practice?
No,
No,
No.
that's not practice.
no,
That's
practice, class time is not practice time.
Well, yeah, yes, I get that, but the jury charge lit and testimony that we do in class, when we go back to practice at night, is that how you, the dictation we do in class, is that how you want us to practice that dictation, or is there separate dictation?
This is separate dictation.
This is completely separate from anything class was.
But that doesn't mean that if you finish this and you want to use some of those for extra practice, that doesn't mean that, because Caitlin, you're high speed, so you're going to need more variation than what this gives you.
I just hear you talk about this, I'm thinking.
Well, I just think, I want you to do the directed practice.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to do that, and then if you need more practice and something else, then you can go back to your takes that you have during the day. If there was one in particular that was hard for you, you want to go back and practice that, sure. Use that as part of your 10 hours. I don't care past this, what you use to fill those 10 hours. Does that make sense for everybody? For some of you, this is going to take you all week. It's going to take your 10 hours. Because it's going to be a 5-minute take. Some of you in the lower speeds are going to have a lot of errors. You just are. And so going back and correcting those errors, I'm not sure you can get a whole take done in 50 minutes. You know, I'm not sure you can really work on those errors and get it done in 50 minutes. So it's not, the time is not necessarily used just for that, and when you get your 50 minutes, you're done. You know, you do it correctly, go through and correct all of your errors. It may take you a couple of days. That's okay. That will be part of your 10 hours. Am I clear on that now? Everybody, does everybody understand that? High speed, probably totally different, because they'll get through these quickly. And then they'll have other things they need to do. But if you get through doing this the way I want you to do it every week, and you get through and you still have some hours left to fill, then I'm going to say, go back to your class dictations during the day. If there was one during the week that was extremely difficult for you, or something else you want to practice on, I really don't care past that point, other than you document 10 hours a week. Have to have that documentation. Yes, ma'am?
That doesn't include the testing on Fridays or the extra weeks test.
No, your tests do not count as practice. Your class time does not count as practice, and the extra test that you take does not count as practice. All right? Practice is independent study practice, directed as much as it will help you, undirected as much as you might need extra time or extra things to work on. That doesn't mean you can't go back to your class time and work on it, but you do this first. Okay? Any questions? Everybody clear? And we expect a practice log to be uploaded every week on Canvas. Okay? So attendance is being kept now, and practice logs will be kept. I also have a little sight writing exercise that I put in your SAC pack. That can count as practice. Just say you sight wrote it, okay? And you don't have to do all of it. It's called Charlie McDuff and the Test of Time, and it's talking about dinosaurs. Okay, it's just a little cute thing that you can write. You don't even have to be wonderful on it. You can just sight write it, but that can count also as your practice time if you finished everything else, okay? And then I will always try to find something to put in the SAC pack to help you. This is just for reading, and this first one, using calming methods, because we get so stressed when we test. So here's some calming ideas, some things for you to think about on what you can do to help yourself be a little calmer when you're taking the test. Okay, I don't want to take just tons of your time, but I do want to make sure we understand everything we're doing. So again, to reiterate, sign in every day on the sign-in sheets for attendance, because we have to keep that. The testing schedule, I just explained to you. If you should come on Wednesdays if you can. It will be easier for you to turn it in then and get it done. Additional tests will be given, and then your guided practice time. Does anybody have any questions? So the SAC pack is downloaded. When I print it off, Joy generally puts it on the Canvas by Saturday at the latest. So you can have it that early if you want it. Get a head start on things. If you want to wait till Monday, that's fine. I always have printed copies out there, but please don't depend upon me to make 50,000 copies for you. Okay, you can download it and copy it yourself, but you need a physical copy of the SAC pack from now on in your possession. Okay, whether you get it from outside my desk or whether you download it after you get it. You have the whole weekend to download it, and it's available to you. Okay, any questions? All right.
Are you going to do ribbons? When are you going to do
Oh,
those?
yes. Thank you for reminding me. I have ribbons up here. So if you have not gotten any ribbons, and those of you online need to get ribbons also. If you have not gotten any ribbons,
That's not enough almost.
let me see what we've got here. 40. Did anybody needs a 40 ribbon? You've passed your 40s, you haven't gotten a ribbon. Come
Raise your
forward.
hand, don't be shy.
Come on, come forward. We want to honor everybody. If I can get them out of here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Miss Woodard, I never got one. May I have one?
Well, come get one. Yes. You haven't gotten yours, come
Even
get
if
it.
it was, even if it was.
Even
at
if
the
it was
beginning
2
of
years
last
ago.
semester.
2 years.
If you want it, well, whatever. Anybody else need a 40 ribbon? All right, how about a 60 ribbon? If you have passed your 60s,
Come on back.
come on down. Okay.
Don't sit down quite yet.
All right. How about
I know.
an 80 ribbon? If you passed your 80s and haven't gotten your ribbon. Thank you for your math. Uh-huh.
Almost.
Anybody else? You haven't gotten your ribbons? What? Well, come get it. No, it's if
It doesn't matter
anybody.
when you pass it.
If you have not gotten a ribbon, you come get ribbons. 80?
No, it's my 60.
You're 60, yeah.
You need a 40.
And 40, you need a 40.
yes.
Oh my gosh, okay. Good. Anybody else? 40, going once? 60? 80? Okay. How about 100? Yes, ma'am. Come on. Evans, you did not pop yourself up at all.
I know.
Get up
He
here.
should have got up here at least.
Get
3
up here.
times.
Evans.
You've done 40,
He's at 40, 60, 80.
60.
Yeah.
You think you're going to hide behind that computer? No
Fixing to
way.
be 100.
Yeah.
I never got 100.
Okay, hold on just a minute. All right, Evans, this is 40, 60, and you need an 80?
Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
Great. Okay, you need 100?
What?
Anybody else need 100? All right.
You're close to 120, aren't you? Yeah, I have one more there.
Letter.
All right, how about 120s? You see, y'all don't get to see that we move a lot. We have a lot. Anybody else, 120s? Some of you are sitting here like, okay.
One day I'll get that.
Yeah. 140? All right. You guys are doing great.
Oh, this is if we've passed all our rounds?
Uh-huh. You haven't done that yet,
You're
okay.
at 140.
Yeah.
Anybody passed all your 160s?
I think they're probably all next door.
Caitlin has, but she's not getting up.
I already have your ribbon.
You have your ribbons, okay. Anybody else? Okay. Keep working hard. Prove to me that these additional tests will be worth,
And she's got a whole box of these ribbons. Make her give them away.
yeah, I don't, the box is just sitting in my room in there taking up space. So, anybody else have anything? All right, Ms. Mallon is going to go with you now over go over with you, I'll get my words right in a minute, the wiki, and then Joy is going to talk to you about Canvas. It's imperative that you listen very carefully to both of these, okay? And I am done. I will see you guys later, okay? If anybody needs anything, you know where I live, right down there in 313A, okay? All right.